All right, I'm reading this book, See Something, Say Nothing, by Philip Haney and Art Moore. Has a foreword by Michelle Bachman. I'm up to page 97. I came across an incredibly interesting page, and I wanted to read it to you and how it relates to the Schaeffer Cox case and how that devil, Eric Holder, basically broadcasted or forecasted that he was going to go after what he considered homegrown terrorists. The reason this is important, and I would say for all of you who support torture and you think waterboarding is okay and you side with John Brennan and George Bush and Dick Cheney that it's okay to torture Muslims, and when you see pictures of Abu Ghraib, you're like, hey, that's no problem. I say, there's a huge problem with that, because what you think is okay for your enemy, our evil, wicked government that's actually run by Satan himself, is going to do that to us. And that's exactly what they're doing in CMU prison, Communication Management Unit prisons, for political dissidents, political prisoners. And they are using 24 points of Chinese thought reform. But let me read this page 97, then I want to play for you a Good Morning America clip that has been edited for brevity. But let me read to you this page 97. It's chapter 7, The Great Purge. On December the 21st, 2010, U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder went before a television audience to warn the nation that the threat of terrorism had evolved and that Americans should be aware that fellow citizens within their borders could pose a danger. That's in December of 2010. Schaeffer Cox was arrested on March the 10th of 2011. And then it quotes Eric Holder, and you'll hear it for yourself. What I'm trying to do in this interview is to make people aware of the fact that the threat is real, the threat is different, the threat is constant. Eric Holder said in an interview on ABC's Good Morning America, goes on to quote Eric Holder, "The threat has changed from simply worrying about foreigners coming here to worrying about people in the United States, American citizens, raised here, born here, and who, for whatever reason, have decided that they are going to become radicalized and take up arms against the nation in which they were born." So that's that devil, Eric Holder, broadcasting that he's going to go after American citizens. I'm going to play for you the report from Good Morning America because I went and found it, and I edited it for brevity. Now, the parts that I took out did have parts about Anwar al-Awlaki, but keep in mind that I think they killed Anwar al-Awlaki, if I'm not mistaken. But they always say that they always act like the deception is this is for the Muslims or this is for the brown-skinned people. But the truth of the matter is they're doing this to Bible-believing people who have a Christian foundation and believe in the Constitution. Okay? So you think, well, it's okay if they do this to the Muslims. No. That's just a front. They're really going after bright leaders in the Christian patriot movement. And don't be thinking that it's okay as long as we do it to our enemies. It's never okay to abandon your principles. It's never okay to compromise with the devil. And when you start to compromise with the devil, it comes back on you. And we need to stand up and say that torture is wrong, enhanced interrogation techniques is wrong, doesn't matter if you're a Muslim or a Christian. And listen to this interview that I'm going to play from Eric Holder, and you'll see that this devil, he broadcasted his plans. He foretold exactly what he planned to do, and he did it. And he arrested Schaeffer Cox. He directed Attorney General of Alaska, Karen Loeffler, and Karen Loeffler directed Joseph Bottini, Stephen Scrocky, and Yvonne Lamoury to go after militias in Alaska. And they're not the only one, and you and I are next. Listen to the report.
Of a terrorist attack here at home has also been the top priority of officials in the United States. So we want to bring in our senior justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, who just sat down for an exclusive interview with Attorney General Eric Holder. And Pierre, the Attorney General is a pretty circumspect man, but on this subject, he doesn't seem to be pulling any punches.
George, I've known and covered the Attorney General more than a decade, and I can tell you he was remarkably candid and quite blunt about the relentless nature of the terror threat the U.S. is combating. What keeps you up at night?
the concern that perhaps that we might have missed something. The threat is real. The threat is different. The threat is constant.
In a rare interview, the Attorney General laid out the most pressing terror threats. Dangers, he said, that are more diverse and increasing. Among them, the new rapidly evolving threat posed by homegrown radicals.
The threat has changed from simply worrying about foreigners coming here to worrying about people in the United States, American citizens, raised here, born here. You didn't worry about this even 2 years ago.
How many of these people have been radicalized online?
The ability to go into your basement, turn on your computer, find a site that has this kind of hatred spewed. They have an ability to take somebody who is perhaps just interested, perhaps just on the edge, and take them over to the other side.
To cope, the U.S. is monitoring scores of radicals and has set up stings to combat the homegrown threat. But the increasing number of stings is not without controversy. You know, the critics say that the stings that the FBI has been doing basically amount to entrapment.
We're going to do whatever it is that we have to do in order to protect the American people. Options are always given all along the way for them to say, you know what, I've changed my mind. I don't want to do this. And up to now, everyone has said, everyone that we've charged has said, you know, no, I want to go forward. And all those actions were designed to kill Americans.
Holder said the U.S. has made great strides in improving its ability to detect and block attacks. The intelligence community is literally working around the clock, and Al-Qaeda Central has been degraded. Have we been lucky or good?
I'd like to think that we're good.
But he said while confident the U.S. will continue to thwart attacks, the pressure is unrelenting, and there are no guarantees.
The American people have to be prepared for, potentially bad news.
Holder says much of the intelligence is chilling. In sharing a bit of personal insight, he said one of the few things that gives him a sense of normalcy is helping his children with homework.